Hello, 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 and welcome to Rainbows Rising, where we ascend together. I'm your host, Rainbow Raaja, and today I have an incredible award winning author. She is here to share her book and her insight with us. Welcome, Falak. How are you?
Thank you. I'm wonderful. Thank you for having me here.
Absolutely. So, go ahead and tell us a little bit about your book, what inspired you to write this book, and about your journey to finding, I mean, your book is about soulmates, right?
Yes.
Yeah, finding this insight on soulmates because there's so much information out there. Like,
Yeah.
how are we to know that your insight is the insight to have?
Yeah. So the name of my book is The Soulmate Mantra, and it's a woman's guide to finding love. And what inspired me was definitely my journey, my personal journey as well of finding my soulmate relationship or my soulmate. And also, as a relationship coach, as an intuitive healer, I have worked with several women who have been struggling to find the love of their life, and I have helped them manifest a soulmate relationship. So applying all those insights and bringing it out in a form of a book. So you can definitely say that this book is also kind of your journal, that would help you um, work through this. You can work on yourself through this book. You can make it as a stepping stone in your journey, and you can start your work with this book as well. So it is the book that shares my journey. It includes client experiences, and it includes journal prompts and exercises that will help you look inside within yourself and initiate your journey into a soulmate relationship and manifesting love in your life.
Oh my goodness. So this is not just a book. This is
Yes,
an
absolutely.
experience.
Yes,
It's an
absolutely.
interactive book. Now,
Yes.
I've seen a couple of these. There's one thing when it just gives you, like, oh yes, go do this practice right after the chapter. But it sounds like yours is a lot more intensive. I really appreciate that because I think sometimes when we're reading books, if we're not annotating that book, we're not really like absorbing the material. So your book is almost like utilizing annotation and
Yeah.
application. That's a how did you come up with that idea?
So I always had a desire to bring out a book. And it was since I was in my 20s, I can say that. Like, I began my journey as a doctor, a holistic doctor, MD in homeopathy. And later down the road, there was something in me that would, write often, but I did not had an opportunity to finish, and also, you have those pages that are really, you have written in the flow, but actually it you have not been able to put it together. So when I moved to Canada, I'm from India. I was born and raised in India, and in recently 3 years back, I moved to Canada in 2018. And only when I got that, it was a time when I had that space and time to kind of rediscover myself of how I want to take my career further in a new land. And then this desire of writing the book really pulled me towards it. I was like, okay, what is that through which my soul would be really happy if I, what expression of me is longing to be expressed in a way, right? And at that moment of time, it came as writing a book. And the only thing that I resonated most at that moment was writing about my journey of finding a soulmate relationship. And so this is how the book came out. And exactly, as you said, that it is not like a book that, okay, you have to read from the beginning till the end, but even if you read a chapter, it would still carry the essence, and you can still uh, uh, pull up that part of the book and imbibe the wisdom in it.
Awesome. So if you could share, just one. really incredible, part of your book. What part of your book would you share with our listening audience? Something to hook them in, make them go
Yeah.
out and buy your book. I mean, I want to hear a little bit more about your book.
Yeah. So there is a beautiful story. Like, I'm a big fan of small stories which has great impact. Like, and there is this beautiful story in the book that I have narrated. And it is in the part almost towards the end in the chapter of awakened relationships. And the story goes by once there was it's based on an Indian mythological story, and it was like the gods of gods, God Indra, like, he asked all the gods that where can we hid the divinity from humans, like, so that humans are unable to find it, because humans have misused whatever powers they have, and I don't want them to misuse this. So let's hide the divinity so that they would keep looking for it, like, and all the gods decided, okay, so they came up with different ideas, like, okay, let's hid it in the deepest ocean so that humans are unable to find it. And then Lord Indra said, like, no, they would go down into the ocean, dive deep, and they would find it. That is not a good place to hide it. So the other god suggested, let's hide it at the top of the mountains. They would never think and say, no, humans have, like, gone to the top of the mountains to climb it, and they might find it, so that is not a good idea. And then one of the gods came up with an idea. How about if we hide their divinity within themselves? Because humans have a tendency that they would look all around outside, finding and looking for things for their divinity, that it is outside somewhere, but they would never ever be able to find when it's hidden within themselves. And this is how all the gods decided and hide the divinity of humans within themselves. And this is, like, the crux of my book, I can say, that actually whatever you are struggling with, or whatever situation you have created, or whatever you are looking for, it is our human tendency to look for outside. Even if it comes to relationships, we always want to fix the other. It is never about the self, right? We are too
Mm.
focused outside on the other. But actually the key to even having a harmonious relationship, or even having love in my life, resides within yourself. That divinity is to tap within, right? So this part, I think, I love the most.
That is a great story. And as you were saying, I was like, oh, yeah, I see where this is going. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so true. I think so many of us, even practicing spiritual people, we have a
Yes.
tendency to seek the guidance, to
Yes.
seek the help, to
Yeah.
seek the advice, the
Yeah.
input outside
Yeah.
ourselves.
Yeah.
But when
Yeah.
when we go within, we do a journey, we sit in the void that is just ooey gooey
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. Even like for
That's great.
spiritual people, definitely, I would say, like, seeking for help. I feel that is a part of the journey, because at times when we want to go within ourselves, it is not possible in certain situations when we are going through, like, we at times cannot be our own mirror. We need
Yep.
someone who can show us the mirror, who can hold space for us. And like, in spite of me being a healer, I have my own people whom I go to, like, who can hold space for me and help me reflect. So that reflection, even as healers or coaches, is necessary, and it is okay to seek that. However, at times we miss, even being on a spiritual journey, being in, we miss that actually whatever we are seeking, and it is not outside. And even if you inculcate that part of the story, that okay, there is something within me that is creating this chaos, there is something within me that is not in the form of self blame, that
Yep.
oh, it's me, not in that way, like, but in the form of taking responsibility of one's
Yep.
own life. Yeah.
Yep, holding yourself accountable for your
Yes.
own, your own junk that has now mucked
Yeah.
everything up. Well, I totally agree. Like I know I have healers that I work with and
Yeah.
have I've been getting work for a long time. But I know that the biggest, most troublesome things in my life were things that I very well could have addressed on my own.
Yeah.
But the fear or the discomfort of having to, like you kind of already know what it is. You're like, yeah, I know. I just don't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think there's a lot of people who go, I'm going to go look for help elsewhere. Where's the
Yeah.
miracle worker? I want them to fix the problem. And they
Yeah.
just don't want to do the work on their
Yeah,
own
that is
self.
that is definitely, yeah, definitely. Like I have seen many people, like, when they are on their, like, especially in respect to love relationships, they
Right?
often
I
go
was
to
just about to say
psychics. Yeah,
that. Yeah.
going to tarot readers and psychic. I don't say it is wrong. I definitely, yeah, they do
No,
their
you
work, they
guys
do
keep
their
coming
job.
to me for your tarot readings. I love giving you love advice unfiltered.
So that is there, but when it comes to doing the real work, to, like, unburdening yourself or healing your patterns or woundings, usually people do not take responsibility for that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
sad, I feel.
When I say I give those tarot readings unfiltered, I really do. People come to me, I'm like,
Yeah.
la 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 la, tell me what to do. And I'm
Yeah.
like, girl, it's right here.
Yeah.
This is telling you, you don't like what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Please,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah.
So, in regards to love, and like let's say you're in a relationship and there's dysfunction. Who
Yeah.
doesn't have that, right?
Yeah.
But it's to a detrimental level. Does
Mhm.
that mean that it's your partner's fault, or is it something within you that you have to heal and then there will be function with your partner? Or is it the
Yeah.
compatibility? What exactly in a relationship, a dysfunctional relationship, is like where's the, I guess, the root of the problem, or
Yeah.
where should people be seeking answers for that, right?
Yeah. So in a dysfunctional relationship, like, I also work with people who are married and who are going through tough phase in their relationship. So it is always the one partner who would come to see me, like, ready to work on their relationship. And when I start working them with them, like, for a certain extent, that work, if the only one person is working on themselves, it helps up to a certain extent.
Yep.
But after that, I feel if you want to bring in harmony and peace and love into the relationship, it is so necessary that both partners take responsibility of healing their own patterns and woundings and traumas,
Mm-hmm.
so that they are able to bring in that peace in the relationship and harmony in the relationship. Because most often it happens that the individual is projecting their own woundings and traumas into the relationship, right? They spill it over into the relationship, and as a result there is a mess or a chaos happening, and that causes the dysfunctionality, I would say. But when both partners are ready to take responsibility of their own wounding, of their own patterns, of whatever they are projecting into the relationship, and both work on their own healing and growth, then there is a possibility that this dysfunctionality can heal as well. Like I have worked with couples, like who this man came to me and we started working together, and then I suggested him that it would be really beautiful if your partner is agreeing to this work and she starts working on herself. And then she got into working on herself as well.
Mm-hmm.
Now they are at a point, they got separated. They were thinking of filing an official divorce and everything, but now they got back together because they understood that whatever the mess was being created, it was the projection of their own wounding, and it was not the other person doing this to them, like,
Mm-hmm.
so that really, I feel, if a couple is ready to work on their self with awareness, with bring in the healing of all those parts of their selves that needs to be healed,
Mm-hmm.
then the relationship can really kind of, they can again go back stronger.
Absolutely. So, so moving into kind of understanding, like, how to find a soulmate, because that was your journey, right? It was
Yeah.
seeking out a
Yeah.
soulmate. And really, what are the qualities of a soulmate? Like, how do you know? We've got people saying things about twin flames, we have soulmates, we have karmic contracts,
Yeah.
we have all different types of
Yeah. Yeah.
relationships.
So,
How do we differentiate between all of these
yes, that's
different
a good question.
interactions?
And I would say, like, most of the, at times, when I talk about soulmate, I am talking about the most compatible soulmate,
Mhm.
because at times the karmic relationship, as you said, like, I might be in an abusive relationship and he might be my soulmate as well. We had previous karmic baggage that we had to resolve, and so we met again. So here, when I talk about soulmates, it's the most compatible soulmate, because it can be a karmic relationship. It might be painful, it might be abusive, it might be bad, and it can be your soulmate as well. So when I narrate the journey of manifesting a soulmate relationship, I would say I always set an intention, ask the person to set an intention of having a compatible soulmate relationship, right? So that is
Okay.
the first thing. Of course, there are twin flame relationships and soulmate. So basically, I can say that soulmate relationship is like, where you are both in a harmonious, loving relationship. It's not karmic, and hence there is less of baggage or less of trouble and pain in the relationship. However, in spite, a soulmate relationship is also not a cake on a walk, like a walk on a cake, sorry.
A
And
cakewalk.
it's like, yeah, a cake walk. And it's like, it's not like that. It still has its own challenges. Any relationship, I would say, it has its own challenges, troubles, arguments, fights, disagreements, conflicts. But
Because
it is
those are necessary to
exactly,
grow.
exactly. And so, as because as partners, you are the closest mirrors to each other,
Hmm.
right? So I also say that, like, having a relationship or manifesting a soulmate, or having a relationship itself, love relationship, a committed love relationship itself, has a great potential to spiritual awakening. Because when you mirrorize each other in a way, and you are able to hold space for each other, it can be a journey where you can help each other evolve into the best versions of yourself. So this kind of soulmate relationship, I talk about. And, like, and when you ask me, like, how do you know, like, whether it's a soulmate relationship? So let me give you my example. When I met my husband for the first time, like, we were together in school, and then we were friends, and then he suddenly came back after years, and he came to see me. And suddenly one day he appeared in my clinic in India, and he's like, hey, you are here, I saw your board, and I thought it was you, and I came to meet you. And all of a sudden he came from nowhere. And when he came on that first day, something in me knew that this is not a coincidence. It is not a coincidence that someone we haven't met in years, like, and suddenly appears on my door, and there is something to it, like, so that was one thing. And then when we started dating, I did have a visions of our past lives and memories, and so much of, even during our dating period, we had worked a lot on ourselves, like, on each of our issues that had surfaced. So it was a lot of work as well. So during that moment as well, and many of my clients have also experienced that, like, when they meet their soulmates, they suddenly have a memory or a vision of their past life spent together. So that is very kind of, and it is not has to be someone who is high spiritual person, like, but they have that feeling of, as if they have met before, as if it's not the first time they are meeting this person.
Hmm.
That feeling itself confirms that there is it's kind of a soulmate relationship, I can say.
Gotcha. So, when you were talking about all of that, I then was considering, like, what about those? So, like, I know from working with clients there are people that you meet where you get that kind of an initial attraction or initial like interaction, right? But a lot of those, I won't say all or necessarily like a majority, but I have gotten a lot of clients who then have those relationships are kind of narcissist empath like dynamic. So why do you think that seems, maybe you don't know anything about it, but I just think it's a really interesting parallel because I know I've had that where I met somebody I was certain was my soulmate. I had the past life flashback. We were together for a number of years, like weird synchronicities. I'd be like, universe, I don't know about this person. Send me a sign. In fact, I'm going to ask for a specific sign. I need this and this and this all at the same time. I need it to happen like this. And it did. And I was like, this is insane. This is just crazy, right? But that person was not a healthy person, right? So how can you listeners, right? How can those listeners out there maybe differentiate or be able to tell the difference between a healthy soulmate and the toxic soulmate? And I mean, if you're crossing their path in this life, we're meant to help them heal. They're meant to help us heal. We're supposed to be balancing the scales in some way. So how can we move through that process faster with less pain and suffering?
So it is the number one thing that I usually, when I work with clients, I ask them to do is have total clarity of what kind of person you want to attract in your life, right? So that is making a list of things that you want in a person, like, so when you are manifesting a soulmate, if you have those red flags, like he's being possessive and you do not want a possessive man, you cut out that relationship. So like, we, like, if you, I don't know, but this is right now what is coming to me is like, we have those different multi-dimensional timelines, like, so when you have a set of things that okay, I want to manifest a man who's not possessive, and you are operating out of that clarity and intention, your timeline shift. It's like, that toxic soulmate goes out and a healthy one comes in. So it is you who set those timelines. It is you who set those intentions. So first of all, even before going and checking out whether it is toxic or not, but having that, going out into the universe with that total clarity of what you want to receive, how you want your relationship to be. Because most of the women that I work with, I have seen that they have no clarity on what they want in their life. Most of the women come out of the place that, oh, he wants me is enough to be in a relationship, right? Their criteria of being in a relationship is like, oh, he said he loves me, he's ready to be with me, that what else should I look for? He loves me, he cares for me, I want that, that's all, like, and they forget about all the possible things that can be in a relationship. And then they find out that, oh, he's over possessive, he's controlling, he's abusive. So when you are setting your intentions, your core values of how you want a relationship to be, there should be mutual respect, openness, trust, loyalty. If you are looking for a
Communication.
relationship, like, everything, whatever you are looking for. So like, when they say that I want a nice guy, now a guy can be really nice, but he might be addict. What he can be an addict. What would we do? Right? So you want someone
that was what I did. I set up, I totally 100, I was like, I want a nice guy. I just want somebody who really loves me, who's there for me, that makes me feel safe and awesome. And of course, he was an alcoholic who then would just disappear. He was a pathological liar. Just like, he just told me whatever I wanted to hear because it made me feel good. Did that for 5 years. He was such a good liar. I had no idea.
So that is exactly what I have mentioned in my book. There are two ways you can pick. Like, one is a way where you go into a relationship you make that mess, and then you realize, okay, I don't want an addict, right? So
Yep.
you then move on to the next relationship, and then you again see, okay, I don't want this now, okay, I don't want this. Or there is another way, that is more feminine way, I can say, of having clarity first within yourself, to make your list clear of what you want to experience, what kind of relationship you want to be in, and what kind of man you want to manifest. And
I would assume
depending
this
on
also
that,
works for men trying to manifest the
of
perfect
course,
woman,
of
right?
course, of
Yeah,
course,
yeah.
of course.
Just want to make sure we're
Yeah.
covering the whole
Yeah,
spectrum
just
of
not feeling, yeah, they shouldn't feel left out, right? So
yeah,
it is,
you guys are you guys can wish for the women. Just be specific about what you
yeah.
want.
Yeah, just like, because I'm talking from a women's perspective, because the book that I wrote is from a women's perspective, though it
Absolutely.
applies to men as well. And so, being a woman, I've shared my journey, and most of my clients had been women. And so I speak for women, but
Mhm.
it doesn't mean that it doesn't apply to men as well.
I
So,
think love is non-gender conformative. I think love applies
absolutely,
to all.
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. It applies to your partners, like, whoever you
Yep.
consider it to be. So, like, having that clarity will help you to filter out the toxic, the abusive, and unhealthy relationships, because you have set your intention right. You have set your clarity of what
Mhm.
and how you want to experience. And, like, when you are coming out of a place of worthiness, like, that I am worthy of that love, I am worthy of that commitment, loyalty, of being treated well, of being respected, of being open in allowance, and being allowed to flow. And
Mhm.
when you set your intention in that way, you would have a healthy relationship, where you would have a man who fulfills all those things. And then if it doesn't happen, you know that you have to filter it out at a very early stage of the
Yep.
relationship,
Yep.
when
So
you start seeing those
I actually have
signs,
two
right?
questions now, okay?
Yes,
So the
yes,
first one is what about those people right now who are stuck in a relationship that might not be ideal, but it's not absolutely terrible, but
yeah.
they're feeling like something's missing, right? And the
Mm.
second question, because I don't want to forget it, because I totally will. It already happened. All right, go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh,
And the second,
settling. What is your opinion on when people, men and women, have a tendency of settling just because it seems to be the most logical, like, oh yes, this relationship makes logical sense, but maybe the spark or the fire or the oomph isn't there.
yeah, yeah.
So what are your opinions on those two things?
So, like, answering your first question, I would say, like, where you are already in a relationship, but you do not have that feeling, okay, this is the relationship, right?
Mhm.
And this is what exactly happened. And this is the part of the story I have also mentioned in my book, that when I was in my 20s and I was dating this guy, and everything seemed perfect. Like, he was a really good person. He was really gentle, emotional, empathetic, everything. However, after being in a relationship for 3 years, there was a feeling in me that this is not it. Like, this doesn't feel as if it is the one, like, and when it came to conveying him that, it was difficult, because, oh, what do you want, what is missing, tell me, like, and I could not point my finger on, like, okay, this is missing, it's not this, or this not.
Mhm.
And I was unable to understand. And I just conveyed him that I do not know what it is, but there is something which doesn't feel complete in here, and I want to reflect that what is that is missing in this relationship, or what do I feel, why do I feel this way. And so
Mhm.
I took a break from that relationship, and it 1 month passed, and 2 months passed, and I did not have clarity. I was in that confused state where I was unable to understand myself. And then it so happened that this guy couldn't handle the pressure, And it back there in India, it is a very normal thing that your parents can pick a girl for you, and if you like, you can say yes, like, it's kind of an arranged marriage kind of a thing. And his parents were eager to find a bride for him, and he said yes, and it was all gone in a sudden, and I was like, oh my god, what was that? I mean, so it was like, and only later I was in a very painful state, to be
Well,
honest, though I wasn't out.
I'm sure that moment brought you lots of clarity. Man, he moved on real fast. Had he even met the girl first? Man, you wondered what was missing. There's a lot missing there.
Yeah, and this is exactly I realized. Like, I was in pain, I processed my depression and whatever, but only when I looked back, I could realize that that person was missing that spiritual inclination on working on himself, on being self-aware, on applying this spirituality to his life. And he was
Yeah.
spiritual in a different way, where he was more into religion. I wasn't more into religion. My spirituality was connection with myself and the divinity within and outside. That's it. And that was the part that was missing. And only when I came out, when the universe kicked my ass, like, that, okay, you are out now. So it was literally a way where universe pushed me out, that this is not what you are seeking. And for me as a person, that openness, that spirituality, that openness to one's growth and healing and working on oneself was major part of who I am. And this is what I was looking in a relationship. And that incidence, that relationship helped me have this clarity that, okay, this is what I'm looking for. Like, so definitely, if you are in a relationship and you have that feeling that something is not right, this is not it, I think you should not stop looking. One should not settle for just because it seems good, it has everything. I don't know, the oomph is not there, but like, it is only you who would know, kind of. And if
Yeah.
you have a question, take your time to reflect, take your time to sit with it, to process it, and have that clarity of what you are exactly looking for. And usually, like, when you ask the other question of how about settling, but there are also women who go with the word, you have to compromise in a relationship, like,
Yep.
when you are looking for a relationship.
Yep.
So
Or
recently
if they have kids and they're
yeah,
like,
and
I'm settled. I got the family. What are you gonna do then? Because it's,
yeah,
you got this partner who isn't a bad partner. They're great. The only
yeah,
issue is, am I being selfish, wanting more?
yeah.
Right?
Yeah, but this is what I have to say, like, there is we have always, as women, I would take it as women, because men might not, I have not seen men, oh, I have to compromise with this woman. They never do
No,
that,
they just
right?
leave.
Yeah. And
They
so
just go have their
women
fun on the side.
as women, we feel that, oh, we have kids, so or like, I would tell you incidents with this one of my clients, and she came to me, she had just like, her engagement was, she was engaged, and the guy broke off the engagement. And later on, when she came to me, she was like, she felt like a damaged good, like, that now what, I cannot have a person who can love me with this. I have to compromise, like, I have a bad thing that has happened, now I'm a damaged good, so I have to compromise. If the other person is having a bad habit, or if is like, is flirty, I should compromise, because even I have my past, so it's okay if he has his past, like, so that kind of setup, I feel, as women, we shouldn't allow. We should rise up to seeing oneself as worthy of being loved and treated well
And
and
respected.
respected. Yeah, and
Yeah.
respected, and seen as, like, I always say, we need to invoke that queen code within ourselves, so that we have a man who treats us like a queen. And answering about the relationship that you are in, I feel, if there is something that you are looking for more, it is more about also, as a couple, how you can work on this relationship, like, how you can take your personal responsibility of your own growth and things that are surfacing for you, and how both of you as a couple can help each other and work on each other's, like on oneself, I would say first, and then as a couple, like, so that would help to bring in that newness, that would help to bring in a new way of being, right, that can bring in that new vibe to the relationship.
Awesome. So, if you wouldn't mind, do you have a copy of your book to show the viewers? Because, I mean, this is going out there visually
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well.
This is
So,
my book, The Soulmate Mantra.
you guys take a good look. Where can they find your book?
It's available on Amazon all over the world.
Amazon, where all things are found.
Yeah, and this is a beautiful cover by done by one of my friends, Kelte Lynn. She's an
It's
amazing
so
artist.
pretty.
So
I
she
love
has
it.
done this cover, and yeah, it's I have got really good reviews about the book. People have enjoyed reading it, and I'm really happy that I could bring out this book in this way. Like, when I get a message, hey, I read your book, it was so beautiful and it's so powerful. And I'm like, wow, I'm so thankful I did this. I took the call of bringing this book out, like.
Absolutely. So,
Yes.
if you could leave the listeners with like one last thing for them to really contemplate or to apply to their life, like what is going to make the biggest difference in seeking out the most functional, the most beneficial, the most ascendant relationship that they could possibly manifest? Like, how can they go about doing that right now?
So one message that I would like to share with them is, when it comes to manifestation, we feel that we manifest what we desire. But let me change that to, you manifest what you are and not what you desire. So if you change within yourself of who and what you are, you can change the reality that you are in. So if I say, like, manifestation has always been taken in a wrong way. Oh, you manifest whatever you desire, it's possible. And then happen. But it happens that if you want to manifest love in your life, you need to become that love. You need to embody that love in order to manifest love in your life. So it is like, you manifest what you are is the key. So change who you are, and you would be able to manifest what you want. A soulmate
Absolutely.
relationship, love, anything.
Awesome. Well, I'm sure you guys out there can start to manifest that love. Yeah, is there a practice you would recommend for starting that loving oneself, spreading that love? Is,
So one thing that I have understood is that inculcating love within oneself is not a 1 day, 2 day thing. It's a journey, and
mm,
it's a process. Like, it's a stepwise process. However, getting in touch with yourself, getting in touch with how you feel on a day-to-day basis is a beautiful step to start your journey within, like, towards creating a relationship within yourself with one own self. So getting in touch with your own self on a daily basis, hey, how are you feeling, kind of, is a wonderful way to start your self love journey.
so just checking in with how you're feeling throughout the day, all the different spectrum of emotions. Like
Yes.
when you're putting your kid down for bed, check in with how you're feeling.
Yeah.
Have appreciation for whatever that is. When you're having a fight with the neighbor over
Yeah.
God knows what, check in with
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
You know,
And even like, when you are stuck in traffic and you feel frustrated, what about it is making me feel frustrated? Why I am frustrated in this moment? Just checking it in. Okay, this is something. And then you realize it's the anger on the husband that is being projected on the traffic.
yep, yep. Yep. So it's so important to reflect, you guys, being mindful throughout the day, just being present with your body, being present with yourself. I know that that's something I do a lot. I'm very well aware of where I am emotionally. Um,
Yes.
even when I'm down in the dumps, it's important to know why and what's causing it.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So thank you so much for joining us today. It has been such a pleasure to have you on and to ask you some of those harder questions. I appreciate you just like taking those bullets for for everyone. I know I'm a hard questioner, right? Um,
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. I absolutely loved this conversation and how it flowed.
Absolutely. Well, go ahead and let everyone know where they can find you. I will put the links down below in the description of either the podcast or the video on YouTube. So you guys go ahead and look for her. Go check out her book. I know I will after this podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, so you can find me on my website. It's www.falakshaikh.com. And also, with this month, I have opened up my mentorship program for people who are looking for working on their relationship area. So you can find that as well on my website. And yes, the book is available all over the Amazon. You can find it in US, UK, Canada, everywhere. So go get a book, grab a copy, and write me a review.
I will put your mentorship program link down below as
Thank
well
you. Thank you.
so that they
Thank
can
you.
find that.
Yes.
So thank you guys so much for listening this week. And I hope you guys liked this month of talking about the different types of love and all the different spectrums of love and how to manifest love and how to get out of unhealthy love. We had such a journey this month. I hope that you guys enjoyed the content. I hope you guys got a lot out of it. I really appreciate you guys tuning in week after week after week. Please share with your friends and family and let them know that we are here at Rainbows Rising. And I hope you guys keep ascending together. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.
Are you ready to ascend to the next level? This is Rainbow Raaja, your spirit guide calling. Please be sure to keep all arms and legs inside your vessel at all times. I'm just here to remind you to take some time today. Support Rainbow's Rising podcast. Go. Join the Discord community. Check out the Patreon. Get some stickers, custom tarot cards. Check out the merch. The merch. You know you want to. Go connect with Rainbow Raaja. Maybe even get a session. Who knows? Your support helps make this show possible. And she loves to support you. Help support her too. Once again, this is Rainbow Raaja, your spirit guide, guiding you to your ascension.